Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest has arrived. I'd like to welcome on stage Dr. Satyapal Singh, Commissioner of Police, Mumbai. Sir, if you would. And Rishi Raghav. Rishi, if you can introduce her to everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Satyapal Singh, 1980 batch IPS officer, is the Police Commissioner of Mumbai. Before taking over as the CP of Mumbai, he has served in various places in Maharashtra, Nashik, Buldana, and as the CP of Pune. He was on deputation to the CBI and has been decorated for his work in Naxalite areas of Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Dr. Singh is a postgraduate in chemistry and holds a doctorate in terror studies. A scholar in the Vedas, Singh is also an active blogger and has authored a few books. Known to be learned, calm, and articulate, please put your hands together for Dr. Satyapal Singh.
Mr. Rishi, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. At the outset, I would like to have your forgiveness because I have to rush for another function. Because I was under the impression this function will start at 7:30 and by 8:30 I will finish. But I requested Mr. Rishi at least to relieve by 9 so that I can reach another function by 9:30. That is a very, very big function today. Some North Indian, Uttar Bharatiya Mela was there in this Milan subway. I think 10,000–15,000 people are there and they will also be waiting for me. I really do not know how to start, what topic to start with. Best would be if you ask me questions or you want me to start to speak a few words. As you all know that we first thank you for putting such a beautiful photograph. I am not so beautiful, but photograph is really beautiful. My job, as you all know, is to keep cities safe and make it safer day by day. As you all know, Mumbai has become an international city. It is the financial capital, it is the capital of fashion, it is the capital of film, fashion, and you know this Bollywood. Besides this being a financial capital of this country, that is why it is very, very vulnerable. Vulnerable to terrorist attack. You have seen in the last about 20 years, almost 20 years, so many terrorist attacks have taken place in Mumbai city. And every now and then, even today also, before I came here, we got some message, some specific name has been given. So this is not a new thing. You should not get alarmed that you are alert this person, that is not like this. But this kind of the input keeps coming for Mumbai city because our enemy country, we can say, or our neighbors, we don't have such a good friendly relations. We have hostile relations. Some of the organizations, even we cannot say that everything comes from outside. As it happened on 26th of November, even we have today lot of homegrown terrorists, homegrown anti-national elements. And when homegrown anti-national elements are there, it becomes much more difficult how to prevent or how to keep the city safe. That is why to keep the city safe, I would like, generally I tell basically 2–3 things. This risk, this threat comes from within. That is very dangerous thing. So first we have to think our internal, what are our internal challenges. Internal challenges I would like to address, like that our enforcement agencies, law enforcement agencies, whether they are police, whether the custom, the other agencies, our intelligence and security agencies, how vulnerable they are. how prepared they are, how well equipped they are, how well trained they are. If you remember, this in 1993, this serial blast took place in Mumbai. It is not just because we were weak internally, but otherwise our law enforcement agencies were also weak. They were complacent, they were corrupt, and that is why the explosives were landed at our coast and they were sneaked into the Mumbai city. So we have to be very, very careful, always at guard, how vulnerable our this and law enforcement agencies are there. Then second point is, we sometimes whether we call it internal election, how vulnerable is our society? Whether this society, they are supportive, they are sympathetic to this kind of the anti-national elements, to our criminals. See, every crime is committed in the society by the members of the society against the members of the society. So our society, how vulnerable, how complacent, how ill-prepared our society is. If we want to be safe and secure in the city, we have to look around what is happening in the city. Sometimes we think that yes, if we are very fit, then nobody is going to harm us. But that is not the issue. You all know, being in the business, even if you are doing very well, if you are excelling in your business, every time you have to remain at the guard what your competitors are doing. Always, day in and day night. So similarly, about to keep the city safe, we have to be very, very always looking for who are these criminals, who are these anti-national elements. And number 3 points is how these our physical parameters, our access control. Just for example, if I give the example, if our Octroi Naka, now you have some CCTVs and I think some computerization is taking place. If from this through our this Octroi Nakas, even just for example, even the businessmen, even the traders, if they are able to smuggle in some of these their machineries, if it's just for example, it's gold or textile, whatever it is, just to paying few rupees, a few hundred or 1,000 rupees to the staff working over there. So it is also easier for the terrorists to bring in weapons and bring in explosives. If some of our persons, some of our Indians, they are able to prepare their motor driving licenses, just paying few rupees, 200 rupees, just to be agent. You know, everybody to get the motor driving license, one must have to undergo the test. But you must be knowing how many are really undergoing test. That is why sometimes I keep on telling this motor driving license, sometimes they become the killer licenses on the road. That is why Maharashtra is the maximum numbers of the death in Maharashtra being such a progressive state in the country, but maximum number of the deaths on the roads take place in Maharashtra. So if coming from outside somebody is able to get a ration card, if you have read about few months back, at around few thousand, I think more than 50,000, somebody was telling 5 lakh. I don't know because I don't have the access to the numbers of the, because ration card department must be doing this, what you call the civil supplies department. Around 5 lakhs, this bogus ration cards were detected. So if we are able to prepare the bogus ration cards, if we are able to forge our certificates, if we are able to forge other kind of the documents, even in voter card, even PAN cards, if we can do it, to the foreign elements, the anti-national elements, they can also get it. So if you want to be safe, we have to take care about these criminal elements. Because this security cannot be done in isolation. Everything is interrelated in this world. So that is why Mumbai city has become very, very vulnerable to these kind of the threats coming from all kinds of types. If we want to be safe, everybody has to keep our ears and eyes open. Wherever you stay, wherever you go, wherever you conduct your business, wherever you go even to watch your movies, everywhere ears and eyes have to be kept open. I keep on giving this kind of the example. You know this our Ganpati. In Maharashtra is this god of the Maharashtra is Ganpati. Some people in Konkan they make Kul Devat. Every village is having this Ganpati. Why have you ever seen our Ganpati, this Murti of Ganpati, keeping his eyes closed? It is always open, very, very sharp eyes, because sometimes when I speak on the model of leadership, because today I don't have the time, but you are all young leaders in the business, sometimes you want I can come and speak on the leadership, what kind of leadership we require, and what is the model of the leadership. Sometimes I speak on this Ganpati. Ganpati is the icon of leadership, and that is why it's giving the message. Always, if you want to be a real leader, keep your eyes open. Never closed it. Similarly, as compared to the eyes, because eyes can see better during the daytime and ears listen less, but during night, ears work better than eyes. So your ears have to be much more bigger, much more capable than your eyes. You must be able to hear from the distance. And know when sometimes it also happens during the dark. Dark is there when eyes are not working, ears are not working, but your nose is working. Just from the smell, from the scent, you can find out very, very foul smell is coming. Something is terribly wrong there. That is why the Ganpati has given this model that when ears and eyes are not open, from everything, from ears, from all the sense organs, ears, eyes, and the nose. Your nose has to be bigger than your eyes and your ears. You should be able that the danger is coming, the threat is coming. The threat is not nearby you. Threat is not the surrounding. Threat is not coming only in Mumbai city. The threat is coming from Australia. Threat is coming from America. Even to your business also. Whatever you are doing today in your business, your competitor might be getting ready in America and in Europe. So that smell, that power of smell must be developed in that sense. I don't want to discuss any further points on Ganpati, but what I was telling you, if you want to be safe, we have to keep our ears and eyes open, unless we do read. And next point I would like to stress upon is, if today what is happening to the police and to the criminal justice system, some people must have read today in the press. Yesterday I was speaking to management students in Narsimhanti College, and I was telling to the management students that our criminal system, it has a lot of shortcomings. And the biggest shortcomings is, forget about the laws, forget about this enforcement on this, whatever you call it. But when police, some case, some crime is taking place in front of your eyes, how many people are coming forward to become the witness, to inform the police? Even if you have seen, I would like to tell you one very, very, it is a bad example, but long back. One incident took place, one murder took place in the court in Mumbai. And when the police went to go there and wanted to record the statement to the judge, you know what was his reply? When this incident happened, I was looking down. So in front of our eyes, it is not, I am not just blaming the citizens. Sometimes it also happened our own policemen. When I became the police commissioner, I tried to make it compulsory and mandatory for every policeman while coming to the office and going back, they must don their uniform. But our policemen also, they are very, very reluctant on this. Why? After they get relieved from their office and going back home, they don't want to they look after penalty if something is happening on the road, and if you are in the uniform and you are not there to sort out the matter, police will catch you, the public will catch you. The policeman is there, but he is not doing anything. They want to save them from that kind. We are trying to convince them that is basically the role of the police. But it is very, very difficult. Changing the mind attitude of a person is very, very difficult. Changing the culture in organization, even in business also, it's a very, very difficult thing. The most challenging thing, how to change that business culture or organizational culture. In police also, it has become very, very difficult for us that how to change this kind of the culture. But there is no other go. Ultimately, because if we want to be better, we want to be progressive, if we want to go to reach to better heights, higher heights, so we have to change. And we have to change with the time. and we have to be always alert. That is why we, in the last few months, 2-3 months, we are spreading this concept of awareness. All the colleges, more than about 350 colleges and high schools we have already addressed. Just on 18th of this month, we addressed 286 colleges and high schools just on one day. More than 2 lakh students we addressed one day, just creating this awareness. And we are sending this kind of a motto. That's creating awareness is our mission. Creating awareness is our mission. Remaining alert is our religion. If you are aware, if you know what is the danger is coming from, what are the threats, and we are always alert, alertness will become our religion. If alertness becomes our religion, we will be certainly safe at home, safe in a business, and safe in the city. I think with these words, I would like to stop here, and I would like to invite your queries and your questions. आप कौन सी भी भाषा बोल सकते हो, अंग्रेजी, हिंदी, मराठी में सब समझता हूँ।
I'll speak in English. So, questions. One is that the conviction rate of a lot of criminals is high, but often the arrest rate is high, but sometimes the conviction rate tends to be low, mainly because the chain of evidence tends to get compromised over the period of time, and very often the law says that the evidence will not be properly presented by the police, and that problem is there. That's one thing. And the second thing is that a lot of countries, the police tend to work with local area committees to actually identify crime. So, for example, in terms of working with mohalla committees in various slum areas and all, how would you feel of that sort of?
Yes, I would like to tell you, yesterday also this question was asked to me by one management student. And if you have read this papers, Asian Age, Indian Express, they have also given my quote. What I was telling yesterday also, I would like to tell today also. Because we are part of the criminal justice system. Criminal justice system means that there are basically 4 constituents. One is the police. If there is a crime has taken place in the society, the police will come, the case is registered, detected, investigated, and then presented, or whatever you call it, for prosecution is sent to the court. Earlier it used to happen, this we call it public prosecutor nowadays. Earlier they used to be called police prosecutors. So about 15 years back, when we used to be SPs and DIGs, these police prosecutors, they used to work under us. For every case, they used to prepare very well. They used to come and tell us what has really happened in the court. And for, if not day to day, they used to remain in touch with the police officers. But what has happened now, unfortunately, that they have become totally independent of the police. We have absolutely no control. Most of these public prosecutors are appointed by the government, means they are political appointees. And most of these fellows, they are not competent as compared to the defense counsels and the private counsels. That is why we suffer. Sometimes it is also alleged, and I don't deny if we don't commit mistakes. Or our police officers, they do very good job as far as investigation is concerned. But police, they are also at fault sometimes because we don't pay so much of attention for very good investigations. But now what is happening, just for example, I am telling, now the case is, you know, this entire country, there is an outrage about this increasing crime against the women. What is the biggest obstacle before us is, suppose you send some sample for this forensic science laboratory for examination. The forensic science laboratory takes so much of time. It takes months together, 6 months, 8 months. This waiting time is 9 months for DNA samples. So when it gets delayed in the court, this as far as the investigation, it doesn't take so much of time. But getting the report, if suppose somebody has died, somebody you suspect that somebody has been given poison, and the viscera has been preserved, and viscera is sent to the court. Sometimes it takes 6 months, 1 year to get the report. And this forensic science laboratory, they are not working, they are not part of the police. They are not working under the police. Similarly, about what happened, I was telling about the prosecutor, then this, you have the courts. Courts are independent. Court, there are so many, you must have read in the press, there are so many vacancies that they are there. And this, so many thousands of cases are pending. Even a simple case is coming for trial after 8 years, 10 years, and 20 years. So many of the witnesses, they might die, they might become hostile, they might change their statements. And then what happens is the investigating officer, the police officer, many of these fellows, they will get retired. Some of these fellows, they will transfer from Mumbai, they will go to Nagpur. Nagpur fellow will come to this Akola. So that interest, what should remain in the interest, the case it also suffers. So if this trial becomes very fast, as we have recently this government announced, especially with the crime against women, the 25 the fast track courts will be set up in the state. So if it happens for all kinds of the crime, I think justice will be delivered in time. And if justice is delayed, you all know the justice is denied. And about your this second question, which was, I'm sorry, I forgot this, what the
Working in Mohalla committee.
Mohalla committees, this about this neighborhood was as the other countries are having. Similarly, the Mohalla committees, this though we are trying, but unfortunately, this experiment has not been very, very successful. At least during crisis time, it has not been proved very, very handy for the police. For the sake of becoming the members, and for the sake of that we are the Mohalla committee members, because good people who can give their time, dedicate their time, devote their time for the society, such kind of fellows are very, very few. And that is why the kind of cooperation we should get. But that is why we are now actually emphasizing, focusing on the students' community and to keep the Mumbai city safe. So there is also a complaint, a general complaint, that people are very, very scared for going to the police station, for lodging complaint. They are not generally welcome there. So now we have this put 3,700 complaint boxes in different parts of the city. It is much away from the police station. All our educational institutions, wherever the prayer, these places are there, mandir, masjid, gurdwara, this kind of the places, railway station. So we have kept these complaint boxes, and we have very clearly mentioned on these complaint boxes. If you want to give your name, you are most welcome to give name. If you don't want to give, that is your choice. But if you put who are these criminals, who are antisocial elements, who are these eve teachers in the society, if you give their names, because every day we open them, all the 3,700 complaint boxes, every day our men, they go and they bring whatever complaint is given. So that kind of thing we are trying to create this awareness in the society so that people come forward, tell us. We should not think that police knows everything. That kind of misconception is created. If police wants, they can detect the case overnight, or they can catch the terrorist overnight. It is not possible because police, they are also human beings, and they also have all kinds of the problem what you are having, or well, citizen is having. Otherwise, also we keep on telling our police they are not really well trained, well equipped. But even with all the pitfalls what we are having today, we are trying our best and trying to easy dynamic process, improving the system and improving the police force. It requires a lot of time, and we are conscious of the fact, yes, there are a lot of shortcomings.
So you mentioned about people becoming hostile, old, the judge not helping out. What is the position on witness protection programs in our country?
See, this was the recommendation, in fact, in 2000. If you remember, there was a